Yo, what is up everyone and welcome back to another drag. Yo, what is up everyone and welcome back to another video with your host Kenkukun. I was gonna say Dragon Ball Z, the wrong channel. Alright, I want to talk about Clair Obscur 33. This is gonna be a non-spoiler review. I'm not a verbal connoisseur, alright? You're not gonna hear some elaborate, elegant speech on this game. I'm just your average, well, I'm your above average gamer, not skill wise. I just play more than probably most. But I'm always looking for, like, in every genre I play and touch, I'm always looking for like the next best thing as far as refreshing quirks go, right? Something about the game that's going to separate itself from the 25 years of games I've played. And when it comes to RPGs, that's very hard to do. So I want to talk about 3 points, and this video won't be too long. Number one, music real quick, and that's not the first point. The music is beautiful. You're listening to the soundtrack in the background. Now, I apologize if it's a little bit loud, so I'm making sure to speak directly into the mic and very clearly into the mic and loudly, right? The music is going to be louder at some points and softer at others. So, words. The music is phenomenal here. All right, but the 3 points I want to cover is story. Again, non-spoiler. We're going to cover story. We're going to cover combat, and we're gonna cover visuals, right? You know, I can't do that. We gotta go like that. All right, story, combat, and visuals. As you can see, visually, I like the game. I like the way it went. I'm gonna use the comparison. I'm gonna use is Baldur's Gate 3 for the story at a later time, and then the other main comparison is Metaphor ReFantazio. Came out last year. A lot of praise. A lot of people liked the game. I thought the story was very, very good. I didn't care for the art style they went with, and it kind of, it kind of just drew my attention away from it. I like the art style they went with this game. It really just drew me in right away. Now, when I started this game, I was streaming it. I didn't even understand what the heck the story was about, right? Until we got to the end of the prologue, which you won't see in this video, right? There will be no spoilers. This is literally the opening part of the game. So you won't see any spoilers that are going to be, that are going to allude to anything, right? So that's point number one. Visually, it's very good. The music, if you love video game soundtracks, you're going to love the music in this game. It is great, all right? Now, we'll talk about the story and then the combat. The story, one of the first things I want to talk about the story is, my goodness, for a turn-based RPG, I rarely read things in the game. I'm not even sure you understand what I mean when I say that. They voiced over nearly everything. Nearly everything. If there was something of high interest that a player would take, notice of, it was voice lined. I wasn't reading, you see me tab in and out of the game. I wasn't reading encyclopedias of lore, right? So there's journals you can collect throughout the game, right? That give backstory to things that happened in the past. Yeah? All voiced over. Every NPC I could come across and talk to, for the most part, had voice lines. Even if they repeated themselves. It didn't matter. It was one of my most... It's the thing I hate most about RPGs right now in 2025 with how old I am. I despise reading video games. I'm tired of reading video games. I bought video games, not video books. So this is your standard. This is your standard. This is my standard. I'm way up here. I've played so many games. It's a curse. I'm always looking for that. There's always like not enough of something in a game, and Clair Obscur nails everything for me. There was at one point in time I was like, man, I wish there was more XYZ, but towards the end of the game, I changed my mind. And I was like, no, you know what? This was actually perfect. So that's like a pet peeve of mine. I just don't want to read things. If it's a video game, I don't want to read lore. Just voice it over, man. Come on, bro. If you're a successful video game studio, why am I reading books? Please, 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 don't let me do that. So how can I sum up the story without spoiling anything? Let's find a few words. Heroic. Adventure. Tragedy. I think those 3 words right there just encapsulates the story. It's a heroic adventure, saga, tragedy. Love, loss, joy, you know. It was emotionally relatable, right? There's nothing else for me to say on the story. The characters were all fun. It's all of the characters, especially the characters you play with throughout the game. All of them were fun. The ones you meet and they join you on your journey, you may not play with them in combat. Fun. Oh my, I thought there was one that I was gonna hate. No, I fell in love with all the characters. I genuinely enjoyed the story through and through. All of it. I think this is a 10 out of 10 game. There's no way I would give this anything less than a 10 out of 10 if I were to scale it. It's 10 out of 10, dude. You find a flaw in this game, and I'm telling you, you're reaching, right? It's just like you gotta not like this genre. This has to be your most hated genre of video games, bro. So you just dislike them all, right? And then let's talk about the combat, because there's more to talk about the combat, right? Again, I'm being very vague with everything, because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm just here to glaze the story, and it's rightfully so. Again, if you've known me for any amount of time, I am never satisfied with video games. I will play a video game for like 5 minutes and move on to the next one, and that's not my attention span of video games. That's just, I'm tired of playing slop, right? I call it slop. I'm tired of playing the same games I played 25 years ago. I'm tired of, in RPGs, I don't want to press a button, watch my character attack, and then that's it. It's just one button press shy of an auto battler, man. Like an idle game. It is. So I don't play them. Metaphor ReFantasio, that's where I'm gonna compare it. Love the story. Hated the gameplay loop. Sucked. The dungeon crawling sucked. The combat was mediocre to me. I despised it. It was like the most rudimentary combat system. Oh, hit enemy weakness. What's enemy weakness? Exploit enemy weakness. Move on. And then fight the next 25 of the same fights and the same enemies to exploit the same weaknesses, right? I hated it. So when it comes to this game's combat, right, they brought in QuickTime events, which you're about to see in a moment. It was refreshing enough. I was interacting with my characters. I was playing the game more. Not only that, it's like, okay, so what if I got tired of hitting the same goblin like 50 times with the same Q to E attack? That would get boring. You're gonna run into like the same enemies in this game for each area. Each area is gonna have its type of enemy, and as you go through the game, you may see them overlap in like the overworld and stuff like that. But you have to learn every enemy's attack pattern to an extent. It is exhilarating. It is fun, and to me, it didn't get old. It's like learning a boss's moveset constantly in Elden Ring or any of the FromSoft games. That's how it felt to me. Now, if I were to turn around and play another game with the same combat system tomorrow, I might be like, you know what? Yeah, I played it. I'm ready to move on, right? But for now, this was the game that did it. Not the first one. Sea of Stars had some combat like this. I just didn't want to read a book, man. As good as that game might have been and as good as the story might have been, right? Legend of Dragoon was the first game. Hear the music getting a little bit louder. Legend of Dragoon was the first game with QTEs in an RPG that I played. And I have fond memories. I also didn't care about, I hadn't played so many games in my life at that point in time where I was like, man, I'm tired of playing, the same RPG with a different story every 2 seconds. Like, everything RPG, I wanted it. Dragon Ball RPG, Mega Man RPG, which I got, which sucked, but I wanted it. I got it, and I regretted it. Worst Christmas gift that I asked for. Oh man. But yeah, yeah, again, you're seeing the combat right here. The combat was a lot of fun. So now as I collected more by the time I got my third companion in the group, I was running into that third companion was like starting to one-shot enemies where I was struggling a little bit more. They just were dealing more damage for whatever reason the setup was at the beginning when you get them. And then, you know, as the avid gamer I am, I paid attention to the build and I started building around the character. And for a lot of the game, it got to the point where I was just like one-shotting fights before the enemy could even have a turn, right? And it kind of bounced back and forth between that and, you know, maybe they got a turn, but it didn't go longer than maybe like 2 or 3 outside of some of the boss fights, right? It wasn't until closer to the end where I was ready to really go finish the story that I was overpowered, over-leveled. The boss was nothing at the end. He got like 1 attack in on me, which if he would have hit me more than once, and I didn't dodge or anything like that, he would have actually killed me. Because I couldn't take the hits. But boy, I was like the glass cannon build. I'm like, yeah, let's just blow everything up, right? It was great. Now, when I got to that point with that third, I was like, man, that's cool. And then I got the 4th character, but I had no desire to play. I'm like, I don't want to weaken my team because of them. No, I'm good. And then that's when that feeling crept in. I'm like, man, I wish there was a little bit more balance with this to make it more fun. And now every character could, you know, be like, they probably have their part. Because once I got to the end, the 3 characters that I've been playing with throughout the whole story, any one of them at any point in time could deal massive amounts of damage without any like extra setup or combo from anyone else. Like no buffs, no debuffs, no setups, just themselves. They could just come in and obliterate, right? So I bet every single character could do that. And when I got to the end of the game, I was like, you know what? I don't hate how the combat went, where I'm just like blowing through enemies now for the most part, because a lot of the enemies that I started fighting towards like the end part of the game was things that I'd already fought, maybe a little bit stronger, a slight variation of them, and it's just like, well, I know their attack pattern, they're not going to hit me, so I'm glad they weren't just like bullet sponge bosses for no good reason. I appreciated that, and I thought for me it hit just like a perfect balance of difficulty of the combat for extreme, longevity of the fights, right, the duration of them, you know, and I just, you know, if I would have just taken a chance on the other 2 characters, I'm sure I could have found a build or several builds for them that would have worked, where I'd been like, you know what, it's fun to play with these guys, right? And I still get the same amount of like power out of them, right? So that's it. Like I don't, there's nothing else for me to really say about the game. It is a phenomenal game. It is hands down the best game in 2025. I think it's the best game we've had, for me, since Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 was great, but I think the story in this game blows it out of the water. It eclipses it because of the way it's delivered. Baldur's Gate 3, you get to interact with your story and decide what happens throughout your story, which made it more fun. But it's just, again, this story is so much more relatable. I don't know what else to say. I didn't really run into any bugs. There's a little bit of delay on the input here and there on mouse and keyboard. Someone with a controller said they didn't have that problem. That's why they played controller. So, you know, maybe they patched it by the time this video is dropped. I don't know. That's it. Like, I can't say enough. I can't say no more. What else do you need to know about the game? It's a $50 game too. You know, if anything, it's $25, right? It's like $20 to $30 less than any other game out there on the market for the most part. especially big name RPGs, and it's like 5 times the game they're gonna be. Guys, I'm very pleased and I'm shocked. I hope, you know, my excitement is here. I hope it really shows with this video. I have had nothing but good things to say about it, and I would love more games like this with just, I'm not going to say love. I'm not going to say other developers don't have love. It's direction. It's leadership and direction. It has to be. You have like 500 people working under you, and they're all not moving in one direction. You have massive leadership problems, right? And it's trickling down from, it starts at the top and it's trickling down. Policies, whatever, right? So this game delivered. It had a clear direction. Everyone was moving towards one goal, and I don't think they could have made a better product with what their vision was for this game. With that said, I'm out of here. Enjoy your night, evening, morning, whatever it may be. I hope, you know, I don't want this to be just me glazing a game. I promise you guys, this is gonna be a game you won't regret getting. This is the Kenkukun seal of approval. I cannot speak highly enough about this game. With that said, I will see you next time.